Good evening on this New Year's Eve where people like myself won't be celebrating because, to be honest with you, like the miserable git that I am, I have no interest in New Year's Eve. What I do have an interest in is fantasy football and the mini league that I participate in, specifically when it comes to my rivalry with Jason. Now, today has been a huge turn of events where there's a small possibility that I'm now overtaking Jason today thanks to my differentials. So, for those of you that don't know, my differentials on Jason were Wan-Bissaka, Martial, Darwin, and Kulusevski to play tomorrow. Whereas Jason's team of differentials was Almiron, Akanji, Kevin De Bruyne, and someone else who I've completely... Mitrovic. Now, I genuinely was really, really concerned about the particular individuals that Jason had. Kevin De Bruyne, Akanji, both having Everton at home. Let's get real here. Majority of people predicted 4-5-0. Keyword being nil. Not only did they concede a goal, but they drew the game 1-1. Seems to be a common theme going on at the Etihad this year where there is the odd draw here or there. There is the odd loss here or there. It's unlike Man City. Usually the Etihad's a fortress, but this season they dropped a few points. And obviously from an FPL perspective, the fact that Kevin De Bruyne, not only did he lose his clean sheet bonus, he also got a yellow card. Akanji, obviously conceding, that's 2 points. Whereas in my case, I had Wan-Bissaka, who now looks like potentially getting 3 bonus points along with Luke Shaw, which is just incredible. You had Jason's Mitrovic, who got 0 points. Now, I was watching Sky Sports News for all the results and everything. And I just tuned in and all I heard was, I don't believe that Fulham have got a penalty. And I'm thinking, it's 96 minutes. What the is going on here? So I just turned it off and a few minutes later checked livescore.com and it just said Mitrovic had missed, and I'm just like, this got to be a joke. You then of course had the likes of Darwin last night. I messaged Jason, I said, look, it's down to seeing what Darwin does tonight against Leicester. I haven't actually seen the highlights and I never will, but the fact that he got an assist from an own goal is just absolutely crazy. The fact that he got 5 points more than Mitrovic is just madness. I mean, I predicted 3-1 comfortable victories for Fulham. By all accounts, it was a 2-1 hard-fought victory. Crystal Palace game, no one gives a stuff about. I predicted, I think, 0-0 in that game. Obviously, ended 2-0, nothing from Zaha. See a lot of people, I say a lot of people, let's get real here, content creators. The odd one here or there brought in Zaha. He got nothing. I mean, what does that tell you? You know, everybody bangs on about how he's not an FPL option, and then a few people get him in, and he still does nothing. Again, I always say this: if a player's a key component to a team, and yet they still get nothing when they score goals, it's just don't even bother with them ever again. And obviously, this evening's game with Arsenal versus Brighton, ending 4-2. I watched the game. It was a lot tighter than what the score suggested, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie, I turned it off after 75 minutes once they went 4-1 up. An absolutely fantastic goal by Martinelli. I'll just put on world's strongest man, to be honest with you. Because sometimes, I mean, from even my point of view, like sometimes football matches I get a bit bored of. And I wasn't particularly that blown away by the Brighton versus Arsenal game, but certainly Arsenal did what they needed to do. It also helps that they scored after, 1 minute and 6 seconds by, of course, Saka. I'm a bit gutted that Martinelli doesn't even get any bonus points considering he got a goal and assist. Played very well today. Odegaard was just outstanding. And yeah, it's just the usual suspects coming through with the goals and assists for Arsenal. A bit frustrating that Nketiah scored, but hey, I went Martial, people went Nketiah. Obviously, Martial got me a goal this week. Moving forward with my team, I'm kind of quite happy keeping Martial. He's got Bournemouth next. They're at home. Man United like playing at home. I would expect that to be 2-3 goals. Martial to be involved. I think Martial's more of a home player than he is an away guy. And I'm struggling to think whether I get rid of Martial or not. Certainly, the immediate thought processes in my head is quite simply this. It's Martial and Kulusevski out for Mitrovic and Mount. And for game week 19, it'd be Kulusevski and Darwin out for Kevin De Bruyne, Greenwood, and then I'd be bringing in a replacement for Reece James, and then I'd be playing a 3-5-2. Oh yeah, that replacement will possibly be a Kanji or one of the other centre backs for Man City, but probably a Kanji because he's nailed on. But this is where the chess game comes in, because if I'm ahead of Jason after today, which I think there's probably only going to be 2 or 3 points in it, I think we'll probably only have one differential. And if I can block him off, then the ball's in my park. It's been a very strange season from my personal perspective, because at the start of the season I didn't jump on any of the bandwagons. I find it ironic that once I get rid of Saka and bring in the popular choice of Martinelli, Saka's just, I don't know the exact points, but Saka's just been going up and up. Every single week he just seems to be getting more and more goals and assists. Whereas Martinelli's just staying on the same, not quite the same level, but just keeps ticking over. And yeah, mine and Jason's teams are going to be almost virtually identical. Didn't he look at Dan's team last night when Vince came on? Because Vince obviously mentioned the fact that Vince Chapman mentioned the fact that Dan, myself, and Jason were really, really tight. And we are very, very, very tight with our points. And I think between Jason and Dan's team, it comes down to Cancelo versus, I can't even remember, it was Cancelo versus a Kanji. I think it's that identical. That's how tight it is between Dan and Jason, and between me and Jason. If I go through with these transfers, we're going to be virtually identical. I think Jason said he can't even get, even if he wants Mason Mount, which I don't think he'll get, but even if he did, he can't get to him without taking a hit. And I'm kind of looking ahead to this double game week thinking, well, Chelsea against Man City and Fulham, we want to get double game week players as coverage, but are they really that important? No. Like against Man City, I can see Man City. Chelsea, whenever I've watched them, I get bored out of my mind. I'm not exactly impressed by them, so do I really want to be jumping on them? I'm certainly not going anywhere near their defence. Because that defender, Reece James, was going to be coming in for this double game week. But I also, obviously, we all wanted him, whoever got him in, for the first game against Bournemouth and then Nottingham Forest. But of course, he's not. He didn't even get to 60 minutes the other day because of an injury, an unfortunate injury. And then, of course, He's not playing tomorrow for obvious reasons, out for 4 weeks. But yeah, now I don't need to get in a Chelsea defender. There's talk of Robertson may not be fit for the game against Brentford, which I think is going to be really, really difficult. So I'm kind of toing and froing whether I want to keep Darwin or not, because I think that game's going to be actually ironically quite tight. Because Brentford are performing really, really well at the moment. But certainly there's a lot to think about, and we've only got till, well, what is it, Saturday today, Sunday with the Chelsea game and the Tottenham game, where like I said, I pride myself on my predictions. I know I got it pretty wrong today, but you know, I do think it'll be a high scoring one between Tottenham and Aston Villa, even though ironically the scoreline between Brighton and Arsenal is what I called for when it came to the Tottenham Aston Villa game. I think I said Tottenham to win 4-1 or 4-2. Then with the Nottingham Forest Chelsea game, again, when it comes to me and Jason's rivalry, well, we both got Kepa. So it really has no bearing. So certainly after today, it's tight. In fact, it's beyond tight. It's so close that it's making this rivalry even more interesting. But yeah. Anyhow, I'm only going to do a quick video. I just felt like it, just giving a tiny bit of reaction to today's games. Obviously, last night as well, Burnley winning. Fantastic result. Apparently, the game was atrocious. The goal was so scrappy that, you know, I mean, this is what champions do. I'm calling it now. For us to, I mean, Sheffield United are still in it, easily. They're only 3 points behind us, but there is 14 points between us in first and third spot in Blackburn. And then between Blackburn and 15th, which is Preston, there is 5 points. Think about that. 5 points between third and 15th. And yet between first and third, it's 14 points. We got a game against Swansea next, which is away. That is extremely tough. They've done really, really well at home recently. And I think, unfortunately, I think we will actually lose that. Because Swansea, like I said, are doing very, very well at home at the moment. They, like us, like to keep a lot of possession, pass the ball around a lot. So, yeah, you mean high possession, Steve-O? Yeah. I mean, ironically, we beat them 4-0 at our place. But I don't expect that to be happening. I mean, Swansea just beat Watford 4-0. And they're playoff contenders as well. So, yeah, that game's going to be really, really tight for us. But yeah, certainly this upcoming game week 19, this double game week 19, as it stands right now, I'm benching Kulusevski. But by all accounts, he was like the best player the other day. So, against Brentford, he was one of the standout players. So I'd like to think at home against Aston Villa, a team that likes to attack, likes to leave a lot of spaces and everything. It would be incredible if Kulusevski was to get a double digit tomorrow. I don't quite see it myself. I think maybe he gets an assist. Double digit would be dreamland for me, because I'm one of the few players that have actually got players playing tomorrow. Obviously, you've got people that own Kane, Perisic, there may be the odd person here or there. Obviously, you've got the Chelsea individuals. I know Sai has got Azpilicueta and Mount, to name two, that are playing tomorrow. But certainly from a differential aspect between me and Jason, it's down to Kulusevski. Now, knowing my luck, he'll probably get 0 points. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting one indeed. So on that note, I'm going to clear off. Like I say, whatever you're doing tonight, if you are bothering watching this video and have watched it to the end, Happy New Year. Yeah? And yeah, I'll be asleep. And then I'll be waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to go gym. So every cloud